they mentioned the fact that I should be eating more bananas because, as it turns out, they believe that 90% of my stones are all calcium, so my body's overproducing calcium, and your body produces calcium naturally to break down fibrous foods, right? So they figure, stop trying to eat so much chicken and meat and with fibrous foods, and increase your banana intake, because potassium kind of offsets your natural calcium buildup in your body. It kind of offsets that. So my grandpa had they were giving him potassium tablets because he was a stone maker like no tomorrow, and they tried telling me that I'm going to be more or less a stone maker the rest of my life too. Isn't that one of the Simpsons, stone cutters? I'm going to be one of those. So I don't know. I don't think it ever.
I'm a cheese cutter.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I've never done any further homework in that. Have you heard that one?
No, actually I didn't. But well, it's interesting you mentioned. I just realized that the only prescription drug I take is potassium citrate. Mm-hmm. So that's why.
I will say, when I was in the hospital for a diabetes diagnosis, they gave me an IV with potassium, and it burns. It goes to the doctor said it's going to burn a little bit. What are you talking about? It's like holy water on a vampire. And you could feel it go all the way through your veins. It's an eerie feeling, but it did burn. And it was a IV, so it drips in there, and you get this big old bag, like a 32 ouncer. And it takes a long time for that thing to drain down. So that was very uncomfortable. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but thank goodness you're taking pills, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So if you had an IV, it wouldn't be too pleasant.
But anyway, alkalinizing diet. You can Google it.
Now, that's a good thing, I think, for everybody. I've read a lot about that, because cancer occurs in an acidic diet, but it cannot occur in alkaline rich.
Yeah, some people make the argument that no disease can exist in an alkaline environment.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense to me.
So do you think that's just our modern way of eating that puts it that way? Because
partly, Western diet is kind of strange because Westerners tend to have more osteoporosis than other cultures.
Okay.
So I'm told, or have read. Highly acidic diet. That's our standard deal. There's not so many veggies, a lot more acidic stuff. One of the ideas about this is that when you've got all that acid in your bloodstream, if your blood goes acid, you're dead. You can't live with acidic blood. Mm-hmm. So what the blood does is says, here comes more acid, goes to your bones and steals calcium. So hence you wind up with, and I'm just quoting what I've read. That's all I'm saying, but it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes.
So the bones weaken, they get porous, osteobone porosis, holes in.
Thank you, Mr. Language.
I think I'm going to study Latin. I'm kind of getting a handle for it.
Well, it kind of does. It's self-explanatory. Now, one thing sent me when I was in the hospital, the quote from the Johns Hopkins doctor that said it's a good thing when it was a major disease.
Yeah.
Who was that said that? That's
Osler. I can't remember his first name. William Osler?
William Osler.
He started one of the 4 doctors who started the Johns Hopkins Hospital, which became Johns Hopkins everything. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Osler, O-S-L-E-R, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing when they have a major illness?
Well, that's what he said.
Because it's the first time that you start taking care of yourself.
Yeah, he did. He was famous for quotations. You'd like him for your quote collection.
Sure, okay.
Yeah.
I do.
But, the thing is, it's like we get down on Western medicine, but then I had a chest infection, like a bronchial infection a while ago, and I'm the first one in line for the antibiotic. I mean, I'm not a purist.
Right.
I've always been what works.
Well, why can't we have the best of both worlds?
Yeah, I think so. I think we can.
Well, that's what we're trying to do on this show. Dadgummit, we're doing it. We got to take a quick break right now. Eno Yaw is our guest. You want to talk about anything holistic medicine? We're talking about meditation. We haven't gotten to that yet. I want to talk more about that. Any other thing. It's kind of like a free-for-all on a Sunday night. So if you got something you got a question about, give us a shout. 262-694-1050. We are the Mothership Connection, flying on AM 1050 WLIP.
You're listening to the Mothership Connection. AM 1050 WLIP, your cosmic link to the other side.
Back we are like a bad penny. The Mothership Connection flies on. Sunday evening is the time to get cosmic, get out there way past what you talk about in everyday life. We don't care about the Kardashian wedding on this program.
Not at all.
We don't care about the royals over there in England. We care about important stuff like organic manure piles. What else talking about? Holistic gardening, health things. We're talking with Eno Yaw. Sir Albert Howard, probably not discussed on any other radio show across your dial. Again, who is he? Who is Sir Albert Howard?
Sir Albert Howard is known as the father of organic agriculture in modern speaking, but obviously organic agriculture was practiced for thousands of years before Albert Howard was born.
Right.
So, but he knows a lot, or knew a lot, about working with plants. He was big into the idea of there's a certain fungus, mycorrhizal. I'm sure one of your listeners knows. And
Yes, we have many fungus fungus literate listeners.
I did not mean any kind of implication when I said that. But a lot of plants need this fungus in order to take nutrients in.
Mm-hmm.
And so instead of dumping poisons on a plant, let's say, to kill any fungus, you just use composted manure and compost, vegetable matter, and that's what you use to take care of problems in plants. The healthy plants are not weakened by insect pests, not weakened by anything. Disease, they're pretty much disease-free, kind of like if people are really healthy.
Right.
They tend not to get sick, generally speaking.
I'm not a big sick person, are you? People say, I get a cold every year. Well, you affirm that in your head. You're going to get a cold every year.
I went for years without getting a cold. And then in the past 2 or 3 years, I've gotten a few colds. And then that last one, not that many months ago, that bronchial thing, that was something going around. There were a lot of people getting it. Doctor recognized it right away.
Yeah.
Got me some antibiotics. So we need big pharma every once in a while.
Yeah, but somebody said like the Asian diet, Chinese food, they are vegetables is the main feature, and meat is a sidecar, and it's exactly the opposite in Western diets. Meat is our main dish, with vegetables are the side. And look at the huge discrepancy in our health.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of fat Asian people.
No,
because their diet is much better.
And it's been that way for thousands of years. Our culture is not that old. The melting pot of America, we pretty much get the greasiest dish of every culture and open up a restaurant. Let's go have Mexican greasy food. Let's go have, whatever. Not the Italian, everything. That's the best stuff that tastes the best.
I think the processing is dangerous. I do. I think the processing with everything. It's scary because, again, we don't know. Some of this reminds me of those cargo cults. You guys know about cargo cults?
Cargo cults. Is that like pants? Cargo pants?
Yeah, everybody in the group wears cargo pants. No, they sprung up in places that have had contact with our civilization. And they see these miraculous things. During World War II, the cargo cult concept really grew, like in islands in the Pacific, because they would see soldiers come in, build airports, airplanes would come in with cargo.
Okay.
And possibly cargo pants, I'm not sure.
Okay, you never know. Okay.
But so the indigent people saw this, and they were like, all of these fantastic materials coming here to us, right? So they were seeing these soldiers as gods. The war ended.
Wow.
The war ended, and there still are people in the islands, like they make these fake runways, and they hang flags, and they do all the stuff that they saw these people doing, these gods, in order to entice them back.